Good morning, my friend. Today, I want to share an inspiring thought with you. You know what? I think we are related. I can prove it to you. I'll use the Silicon Valley icon, Bill Gates, to illustrate my theory to you.
Well, he's the founder and chairman of Microsoft Corporation. I prefer a younger Bill Gates, please.
Well, not that far back. Fast forward time.
You're almost there. Perfect.
In his heyday, in his early 20s.
Bill Gates in his heyday. So we can use Bill Gates.
Now you can use your favorite Hollywood celebrity. The only requirement is that your celebrity has to be a male gender. It cannot be a female.
You can use the Hollywood icon, Clint Eastwood, to illustrate my story. Or you can use Jackie Chan. Or Sylvester Stallone. Or the action hero star Bruce Willis.
But for now, I'll use Bill Gates to illustrate my point to you.
Bill Gates in his prime.
Well, imagine Bill Gates, right? Met Jenny Smith on Facebook, okay? And they fall in love, alright?
Love is a beautiful thing.
So one day he proposed to her online, okay? And she said yes, and they agreed to the marriage, and off they go to the wedding, okay?
It is like a beautiful flower blossoming in the spring.
Now, what happened when a lady get married? She will take on her husband's last name. She will change her name to bear her husband's family name.
After she's married, Jenny Smith will change her name to Jenny Gates.
Well, that's in the first year, Bill Gates produced a son, right? And they call him Michael Gates, alright?
Let's assume they have a son named Michael Gates.
And then the next year later, you know, they produced Jennifer Gates. Okay, that's the name. So they have a son and a daughter, right?
And then a year later, Jennifer Gates come along.
Now, when a son get married, Michael Gates, he will carry on the family last name, right? That the Gates dynasty will live on, you know, on the male side. Female side, their daughter, after she get married, she will change her last name, you know.
Let's say Jennifer Gates turned 18. One day, she found a Prince Charming, George Hudson. They fall in love and she say, hey, let's get married. And off they go to the wedding.
Well, let's put this into perspective.
After she's married, Jennifer Gates will change her name to Jennifer Hudson. Then they produce a beautiful daughter named Michelle Hudson.
Like the water flowing down the river. Let love come to you naturally. You don't have to force it. Let it happen to you naturally.
That's how you know you have found true love.
Genuine love.
Well, to fully comprehend my story, just remember that every time when a lady get married, she will change her last name. Look at this from the bride perspective, then you start to understand my story.
At first, you date somebody before you would marry them.
Just like D come before M.
Make sure you're compatible with each other before you're committed to marriage, right?
Yes, make sure it's the right choice. Because it's going to be a long haul.
when the moment feels right, you know she is the one.
You are absolutely right.
So every time when the lady get married, she will always change the last name. Now take that generation by generation, and you can see how the line can get blurred. You can see how the line get blurred as time goes by.
Well, Michelle Hudson grew up and she attended college and met handsome Larry. They fall in love and get married.
Now Michelle Hudson become Michelle Anderson.
Before long, they have a baby girl
Named Sherry Anderson.
Sherry grew up and married to Richard Jones.
Then they have a daughter named Linda Jones.
Well, the tradition of love and marriage continue from one generation to another.
Let's fast forward into the future.
In Generation 10, Jerry Gates meets Sherry Harrison and they fall in love.
It was love at first sight. Quickly, they get married in the springtime.
But wait, do you remember the first generation? Let's look back at the family tree, okay? The first generation, Bill Gates tied the knot with Jenny Gates. And then they have a son and a daughter. Remember?
So the Mary carry on the legacy, you know what I mean? Like the Gate dynasty will live on.
So if you look back at the family tree, you'll see Jerry Gates have some connection with Sherry Harrison. They are distant relatives, separated by 10 generations.
Well, you might say that's our cousin, right? Well, the question is how often do you still stay in touch with your distant cousin, you know what I mean? Especially if she is in another country. Well, nowadays, with modern transportation, you can hop onto a United Airline, you know, and be in a new country in a couple of hours, you know. Imagine your sister get married abroad to Switzerland or to England or to India, to China and Japan, you know what I mean? But she decided to live there indefinitely. And she have a daughter, you know, and the daughter get married, and she changed her last name. So you see how the line get blurred?
Nowadays, with the internet, you can find love anywhere in the world. Now you can get married abroad.
Well, let's imagine this, alright? There's an Asian lady, her name is Cindy Wu, alright? She's married to a Caucasian husband. Let's say his name is George Hudson, alright? So what happened when she get married? She will change her last name. Now Cindy Wu become Cindy Hudson. So you see how the line can get blurred? Alright? Even more. If you date a marriage to people outside of the ethnic group, the line is get blurred even more, right? So see how we can all be related somehow? Well, look at this from the bride perspective. Then you will see the logic behind my theory, which is also a fact. Well, in most countries, in most of the culture, that's a tradition people abide by. So whether it is the Eastern tradition or Western tradition, right, the bride will always take on the groom's last name. You know what I mean? The wife will bear the husband's family name after she get married. Now take this generation by generation and you can see how it can get blurred as time goes by. Well, on the groom side, the male will preserve the family name. They will carry on the torch into the future. You know what I mean? That's why people prefer to have male than female
In most of the country.
So let's assume you are Mr. Jones, right? So, and you have a son. Well, good for you. That means the Jones dynasty will live on. You know? Or if you are Mr. Smith and you have a son, fantastic. That means your family name will carry on. So the male will preserve the family name, you know. The Zhou dynasty will live on. Well, nowadays with the internet, you know, and with the ease of modern transportation, you hop into United Airlines and you'll be in a new country in a couple of hours. You have a cousin in China, another second cousin in India, one cousin in Canada, another cousin in Australia. You know, distant cousin now. You know what I mean? North, east, south, west, you know. So the key question is, how often do you still stay in touch with them? Now you see how your relative can get dispersed around the world. So see how the line get blurred by distance and by time. Well, nowadays some people, they are the people outside of their ethnic group. You see? Well, that will blur the family line even more. You know? So you say I'm related to that white Caucasian man? You must be kidding.
Love sees beyond your skin color.
Nowadays, some people date and marry other ethnic group. That surely will blur the line.
You should preserve your race. You should preserve your family line. Keep it pure for the future.
Well, every time when a lady get married, she will always change her last name. Now take this generation by generation, and you see how the line can get blurred as time goes by.
Then you'll find true happiness in your life.
Think about the human species have been around with each other for millions of years, you know. So our path might have crossed in the past. You know, we could be related in some way. We'll trace the family line. You might be surprised and see the connection there. You could be my distant cousin. I could be yours.
So as the generations passes by, the family line can get blurred by time and by distance. Somehow, we are related to each other genetically.
So regardless of your skin color or ethnic group, we might be related in some way. Indeed, we are brother and sister under the sun, under heaven. Hey, the good news is, hey, at the end of the day, I could be your distant cousin. Well, I hope that I have convinced you that we might be related in some way, you know? Well, since we are extended family, we might as well try to get along with each other peacefully. Well, in the eyes of God, we are simply one happy family under heaven. Now you see the big picture. That's good. So let's try to get along with each other peacefully and live in perfect harmony. It can only benefit us in the long run.
The good news is, hey, at the end of the day, I could be related to you. Only God will know the truth.
Please don't take this video too seriously. It is highly subjective. Thank you. Remember, God loves you.
Your life is a precious gift from high above, so you should make the most out of it. Remember, you are a treasure. in God's eye.